All right, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Burrow77. We're gonna do a little live stream today. Just kind of talking about some different stuff that I like on the board. I already did a lean sheet. I had about 12 pitching props that I really liked today. I whittled it down. Board walked away from us on some of them. We'll get back into checking some of them out and the prices they're at now. First pitch for all games today is 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Be sure, if you're watching, jump in the comments. Let me know if you want me to research anything or help you show you something. I'm happy to do that. But to start us off, we'll just kind of run through my lean sheet and what I have, and I can show you where I found a bunch of these different stats and data and stuff like that. So here we go. Can we talk ball? Can we talk Balt versus Jays parlay? I mean, we can. Yeah, we can talk. Do you want to build a same game parlay, Cody, or what do you want to do there? I'm happy to help you guys out with anything you're looking to research, but yeah, just drop a comment. Let me know what it is you're looking at, what you want some help with. I'll be happy to help you out. But I'll start with just kind of my lean sheet for today. Let's see here. Yep. Let's get this scaled up. I was looking at Tristan McKenzie over 4.5 Ks. It was minus 128 to minus 130 over on DraftKings. Let's take a look at where he's sitting at now. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys. Yeah, I can. All right, we'll start here. Minus 144, not my favorite price. Still got the minus 128, minus 130. If we jump over here to baseballsavant.com, we'll have starting lineups. Here we go. Yeah. Obviously, Kansas City has been one of the stronger teams in the MLB, it being K-adverse, and I don't know. I just like McKenzie today. It's a divisional game. Both of these guys are duking it out for the top of the division. Some notes that I saw from Fangraphs. I used a lot of the home and away lefty-righty splits today. This link is in the description of the video. But yeah, it's a divisional game. KC has a 3% higher split on the road versus right-handed pitching. KC was the number 3 worst team in the MLB at drawing walks versus right-handed pitching. McKenzie's big issue is his walks, and McKenzie has cleared this line in his last 5 home starts as well. And they played some pretty K-adverse teams in Minnesota and the Mets, even though the Mets have been striking out more a little bit recently. If we go over to props.cash, you can take a look at McKinney's home splits for the season. Obviously, he was coming off the IL to start the season and had about 3 or 4 rough outings. 3 rough outings before he kind of dialed it in. And then once he dialed it in, you can see he's cleared this number in all of his games. But like I said, historically, he is a better pitcher at home. If you go back here, one of the few games he did miss was versus KC back in 2022. He did miss the back end of 2023 with an injury that had him on the 60-day IL. So I don't know. I just kind of like McKenzie. I thought the price point was pretty decent for a guy that pitches much better at home. I also like Tristan and what he brings to the table. And we'll take a quick look. Yeah, see, his big problem here is walks. And because of Kansas City's low walk numbers, I do think that he has some life here today. Same game parlay, 5 to 7 legs. I mean, we'll take a look at the game. You got to tell me what it is you like or what it is you want help with, though, Cody, because that's just not my thing. I don't really build out a ton of same game parlays. I'm happy to help you research. I'm happy to help give you a look on anything you like. So, yeah, just throw some ideas out there, and I'll be happy to help. Moving on, I like Tyler Glass now for the Dodgers over 7.5 Ks at -120, -125. I'm pretty sure Glasnow's number has gotten really beat up. It's now 7.5 at -150-ish, kind of across the board here. Yeah, -170 on offshores, -160. Yeah, so I feel like that's really lost a ton of value. And then if we go take a look at the starting lineups with Pittsburgh, you got Brian Reynolds here, Connor Joe, Brian Hayes. We'll take a look at props.cash on Glass now. And we'll take a look at these guys hitting splits versus righties. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of K targets here for Glass now, even though a couple of these guys are borderline, under 20% with Reynolds. Joe over just shy of 22%. That's still borderline. Hayes at 20%. That's borderline. Tellez actually swings the bat a little bit better versus righties than compared to lefties. So yeah, look, I'm not here to go for the under and make a switch. Just hits and bases. Send me my picks. Yeah, just send me what you want to take a look at, and we'll do it that way, Cody. Just throw them here in the chat. But yeah, I mean, Glasnow's line has clearly walked away. And I just don't think it's a good play anymore. It's not something that I'm now starting to shade the under on. It's just I'm not willing to lay -150 juice on pretty much anybody to get over 7.5, unless we're talking like Spencer Strider at home, because Strider at home just has insanely good splits there. Keeping it moving. Christopher Sanchez, this is a guy that I've been on the fence about. I just don't know what to do about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's very bipolar. They're either really hot or really cold. Milwaukee has a 23.2% K rate on the road this season versus left-handed pitching, which is number 15 in the MLB, which is bang average. But Sanchez has been a monster at home all year. Sanchez has cleared this line in 4 of 5 at home, including running up 8 Ks in his last home start versus a very K-adverse Washington Nationals team. And Sanchez has only cleared this line once away. He's significantly better in Philly. And we'll go over here and take a look at those splits on props.cash. Here we go. Sanchez, again, his home versus away. This is his 2024. It's not all that standout. And then you get to his home versus away splits, and you can just see that Sanchez is far superior at home. Clearing versus Cincy, who's awful. Pitt, who's not that good, but that was early in the season, so I'm not sure what his pitch count was like there. Absolutely dusted Colorado for 10. Toronto, who is super, super K adverse. I believe his line was 4.5 there, because I'm pretty sure I ended up taking that in Discord back on 5-7. And then, like I said, he dusted the Nats for 8 Ks, which is really, really strong. Milwaukee's just one of those teams I cannot get my finger on the pulse for because of some of this stuff here. They completely rocked Shada, I was on the other day on 529. That was my play of the day. Shada took his first real hard beating as a rookie, but then they got dusted by Justin Steele for 8 Ks. Luzardo, he didn't have his K stuff that day. He's also coming back from the IL. He pitched a gem. I think he went 8 full innings, but only managed 4 Ks there. And then guys like Ryan Weathers getting 8 on him. Cole Ragans, who is pretty decent for KC. I like Rodon a lot, but he hasn't been the same since he got injured when he was traded to San Francisco from my Chicago White Sox. So this Milwaukee team has just been kind of all over the board. I don't know what I'm getting day to day out of them. The lineup isn't super telling here, but you can see that they definitely do struggle, especially at the top of the order more versus left-handed pitching. And with Suarez being dominant at home, or Sanchez, sorry, not Suarez. With Sanchez being dominant at home, this is still something I like and that I've been hoping people could sell me on. So if you guys want to jump in with any comments on that, I am very open. I want to take Sanchez. I want to get there. So please sell me on that pick. Burns over 5.5 Ks, Vladdy 1 hit, Gunner 2 hits. I don't know. For 1 hit, Mountcastle 2 bases, Springer. Yeah, I mean that's a lot, man. That's a lot of stuff from both sides of the ball. We'll get into it and we'll talk about some of that stuff here. Let's jump into it right now for you. I'll tell you right now, I don't like Burns K's. I think Burns has been pretty ass this year. I think they're not getting what it's not that he's losing games or pitching poorly. He's just not having his K stuff. And I don't know if that's adjusting to the new ballpark. Also, like Toronto is just super K adverse, man. Like, look at this. The number 29 last 15 days, number 30 last 30 days, number 25 all of 2024. Again, this is props.cash. So this is a little tilted. Let's check out their splits. We'll go with Toronto is at home today, correct? Yeah. So Toronto at home versus right-handed pitching. We'll take a look at their stats here on Fangraphs. And all right, so they're the number 9 team, 21.0% strikeout rate. Let's go to the standard. Take a look at their strikeouts. Toronto should be right. Oh, no, we'll sort it the other way. Yeah, number 10 here. 801 plate appearances, only 168 Ks. Let's narrow this. Let's go back to advanced here and let's narrow this down to I don't know, let's call it the last 15-ish days on Toronto. So again, they're even stingier the last let's call it 15-ish days. We'll go back. We'll look at the last 30 days. We'll go from May 1st, which is a little longer than 30 days. But, you're just this Toronto team is really K adverse at home. Yeah, I mean, they're a little worse. So as they've been playing better, they're tough to strike out, especially in their own building. And I know Burns has been decent away here. Kansas City's tough team. White Sox have been pretty K adverse. Washington's been pretty K adverse. Boston is trash. He should have dusted Boston for like 8, 9, 10 Ks. So yeah, I mean, I'm just out on Burns here. I'm not super sold on him and not at that. Let's see. What's Burns' price for his Ks? Yeah, I mean, minus 110. That's fine. I don't know. I just don't want to be involved with Burns at all today. If we want to look at Vlad hits, I'm sure that's going to be Vlad hit at minus 260, minus 250. Vlad, look, he's not striking out a lot, which is great. He's got super high slugging. He's taking a good amount of base on balls too, which is the problem because you can kind of pitch around him to get to Vogelback if you want. Bo Bichette is also just swinging the bat like absolute garbage. Justin Turner's pretty much dead. So yeah, I mean, okay, so you're a Jays fan. Yeah, you're on the upswing here. Like Vlad, definitely, I like him for a hit, but if you're looking for a guy with bases, like Vlad's the move because the unfortunate part is because he is taking walks, you can pitch around him. Like, I just don't see Vogelback swinging the bat well. Justin Turner's been swinging the bat like garbage. Bo Bichette hasn't had anything this year. Except for Vogelback. Yeah, he's not swinging the bat well. Trevor Richards, the starting pitcher for Toronto, right? He's got to be the starting pitcher for Toronto. Toronto. Yeah, look, you want to take how many Ks do you want to take? Toronto for, because, like, again, Orioles are one of the most K-adverse teams in all the MLB. Like, I'm not super interested in getting involved with their K props. Like, it just seems like a bad way to go here. You got Rutschman, who's not striking out. Gunnar Henderson's on a complete rip. He's just hitting nukes. First at bats, I mean, this dude's going yard, left, right, and center. Mountcastle is a borderline guy at best at 21.5%. Santander, sub 20. Westberg, sub 20. Austin Hayes, not enough data to be relevant, but hanging right around 21%. You can get to Causer and Norby, but McCann doesn't strike out. Like, this is a very bad game for strikeouts on either side. So I'm not super interested there on either teams. And you can tease them if you want. I think that's always playing with fire, though. When you start teasing guys, if you're going to tease guys, I would maybe go 1, 2, 3. You could go 4 for Burns, because I think you will see Schneider through the order twice. But there's not a lot of other good K targets that are 25% or higher here in this lineup. I mean, you got Vogelbeck, who's a borderline guy there, and then you got Verishow and Schneider. So, look, and I'm not telling you to take the under either. I don't like it. I don't want to get involved with look, if you can sell yourself on the under, especially as a Jays fan, like, I can definitely see that, because look, Jansen's hitting the ball well. For the limited amount of time he's been in the lineup, he's certainly not striking out. Vlad's hitting the cover off the ball. He's been really K-adverse. Vogelbeck is probably your biggest concern there at DH, which I know that they've been willing to swap him out for. Turner, for his lack of putting the bat on the ball, hasn't been striking out. Bo Bichette, same thing. He's not getting the contact you want to see out of him, but he's also not striking out. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not super into that one. Moving on. So, yeah, like I said, I want to get talked into Sanchez from Philly. The next guy we'll talk about is Shada. Shada over 6.5 Ks. This was minus 105 on MGM. Let's go back over here to look at strikeouts. Hopefully, well, unabated does its thing. I do like Shada. I think he's nasty. I know I got burned on him versus Milwaukee. That's not freaking me out. I will still go back to him. It's walked away a little bit from the minus 105. I'm not super interested in paying minus 137 or minus 147. This is Sports Trade. I can't even play those books. So minus 128 is still kind of playable here. Minus 120 on DraftKings. I could still be talked into that. Minus 130, minus 135. Yeah, I'm not going to lay much more juice than that. But I could be talked into over 6.5 at minus 120, minus 125, minus 128. Bottom of my price range here is probably minus 130. And that is because the White Sox are super K prone, especially to left-handed pitching. Now, I didn't get involved in home and away splits here because this is the crosstown rivalry, and it's basically a home game. Yeah, I know it's at Wrigley Field. The other issue here a little bit is the wind's blowing out to left field at Wrigley at a pretty decent clip. Let's pull up covers so I can show you guys. Sox Cubs. Yeah, wind is blowing out here to the left field at just shy of 14 miles an hour. So you can catch some guys going yard here. This is a good target for home run props. There is some rain in the forecast, but I think it's going to hold off until about 9:30 I'm not going to bother pulling up the Doppler radar on here. That's something you guys can do yourself. But I did look at it earlier today. It looks like the rain is going to hold until later in the game. So if you want to take Shada here, I can definitely see my way into getting onto Shada because of this. And these are left-handed pitcher, lefty versus righty splits. I actually will throw a little note here on my Words document because I did go through this step by step with my Discord earlier today. So let me just pull up these numbers on some of the White Sox batters versus left-handed pitchers. I just got a copy paste here. And I haven't confirmed that these guys are in the lineup, but we'll go take a look here in a second. But yeah, I mean, Pham is a shade worse versus left-handed pitching, and he's the guy who's been putting the bat on the ball and really kind of one of our better offensive weapons here for the White Sox. Sorry, this didn't copy and paste super well, but Pham is definitely a shade worse, who gets over 20% K rate versus left-handed pitching for the Sox. Andrew Vaughn is significantly better. Andrew Vaughn rakes left-handed pitching. So if you're looking for any batter props here, Andrew Vaughn is the guy I would be targeting. He also has some nice power. I believe when we look here, if we look at his slugging, oh, they're not going to give it to us. I can pull it up. I don't know. If you guys are interested, I can pull it up. I know that Vaughn does tend to have his doubles and home runs go up, though, versus left-handed pitching. He rakes left-handers, just like Berger did and a couple other guys on the Sox who I'm familiar with from last season. Gavin Sheets is exponentially worse versus lefty-handed pitching. Super easy K target there. DeYoung, it doesn't matter, lefty, righty. He's garbage, 30% or higher for both lefties and righties. Julks is 6.7% worse versus left-handed pitching. Millard is actually a shade better at 3.6% better. Danny Mendick is significantly better at 8.5% towards the bottom of the order. And Maldonado, it doesn't matter. He's striking out at over a 30% clip versus lefties and righties. So, yo, what's up, Darny? Shout out. Thank you. Oh, Pham went on the IL this afternoon. That's good info to have. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's take a quick look. They should have the starting lineups out here. Yeah, so Julks will be batting first, who is more K adverse versus left-handed pitching. Vaughn batting 2, who is definitely way more K adverse. Luis Robert Jr. coming off the IL. I don't know what to do with that guy. He's striking out left, right, and center. Paul DeYoung striking out left, right, and center. Gavin Sheets is not 16.7%. As I mentioned back here in the notes, Sheets is 26, 27, 28, 29. Yeah, he's like almost 30%. So if we go here, we'll find Gavin Sheets. Is he 34.8? No, Gavin Sheets, yeah, 30% case versus left-handed pitchers. Dude is absolute trash. So that's 1, 2, 3 really good targets. Corey Lee. Oh, geez, let's see. Corey Lee, 25.7%. That is a massive, 25.7%. Shade higher, but that's another massive K target. So that gets us 1, 2, 3, 4. Mendick is a little bit better. Sousa, I don't know about him. And Maldonado is garbage. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely get into taking Shada here. I can talk myself into Shada at -120 for sure. I'll put that on the lean sheet. It is getting kind of close to first pitch, so some of this other stuff we're talking about is for later games. So I'll get right into some of the official bets I have taken today. Let's see. We'll go in chronological order on games that are starting the soonest. I do want to get involved with Washington a little bit. So Atlanta versus Boston. I am on both of these guys, actually. So I ended up taking both Cutter Crawford and Max Fried. Max Fried away in 2024 has been pitching much better than he has at home this season. Fried just dusted the Cubs, who actually are pretty K adverse. For 9, the Mets, again, they are pretty K adverse as well. He got them for 5 away. Dodgers, the top of their order is always really tricky. But after that, the K numbers jump up significantly. In Seattle's just straight up ass. It did take a while for Fried to settle in this year, but I liked Fried a lot, and I ended up taking him because Boston is just straight up garbage at home versus left-handed pitching. They have a 30% K rate versus left-handed pitching at home over the last 30 days. They strike out left, right, and center. Fried has been significantly better on the road this season, over in 3 of his 4 last road starts, and he's faced some very K adverse teams in Washington, San Diego, and the Mets. So I like Fried. I have money down on Fried. I got a plus 104 over on Caesars. Let's see, where is he at here? Max Fried. Max Fried, plus 126 now on FanDuel. Got some Oppo line movement going on here. 7.5 at plus 140. That's kind of a ripoff. You'd get a better line there on Alt. 129 on Caesars now. So look, if you're a closing line value guy, I'm on the wrong side of the line movement here. Boston, I guess, is putting out a little bit more of an unexperienced lineup, guys that don't have a lot of statistically relevant data because they haven't come to the plate enough here. But look, my buddy Tone is a big Boston fan, so I do get sucked into watching a bunch of their games. These guys are ass, dude. And the other thing that I really liked for this game is the wind is blowing in. Yeah, the wind's blowing in from the farthest part of the ballpark, which is center right here in Boston, and it's blowing straight to the third base bag. So I think Boston's going to have trouble yeeting balls off the big green monster for doubles, which is really how they get a lot of their hits. And as I said, they're a 30% strikeout team at home over the last 15 days. So we'll go left-handed pitching at home over the last this is a little more than 30 days, but you can see Boston, number 3 team in the MLB, 29.4% clip. If I narrow that date range down to exactly 30 days, we get exactly 30%. So yeah, Boston just not swinging the bat, just not making a lot of good contact. They're very K prone at home. So I am all over Fried, and the Oppo line movement doesn't scare me. I got plus 104. I personally don't think it's worth doubling down to get just a hair shy of plus 130 because a 2-unit play for me is stretching me pretty thin. And I have 5 full 1-unit plays today, which I'm pretty comfortable with. And like I said, I'm trying to get talked into Sanchez. So, fuck. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take Sanchez. I'm going to do it right now while we're here. Sanchez's best number is on DraftKings. I'm just going to go ahead and take that on DraftKings as a live ad. I apologize. I do have to just use my tablet for this so I don't give away all my personal information and the first initial and my full last name here for my email address. So yeah, we're taking Christopher Sanchez right now. I'm gonna do it live here. Christopher Sanchez, pitcher props, over 5.5 Ks at plus 120 for 1 unit. I'm doing it. That makes 6 plays I have now officially on the card, including Fried, and we'll talk about Cutter Crawford right now because that's the next guy that I'm on. Cutter Crawford, I got him at plus 110. Threw this on the board. Actually, let me quickly throw up. Oh yeah. Let me quickly throw up my Sanchez play. Plus 120 DK. Let me throw this up in my official bets on Discord, so we can keep it moving from there. I'm just going to copy and paste this directly. Wait, add from the live stream. Cool. All right. So, yep, we talked ourselves into Sanchez. I'll move that down to active bets here shortly. But yeah, Cutter Crawford. Hell yeah. Let's go, Darnie. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Hala Madrid. So Cutter Crawford over 5.5 Ks, plus 110 on DK. Let's see what it's sitting at right now. Cutter Crawford plus 108 on FanDuel, plus 110 still on DK, plus 100 MGM, plus 106, plus 110 on offshores. So yeah, still same price. I still like Crawford here. And let me get into why. Atlanta has been struggling a ton, and especially on the road this season. The Acuna injury isn't helping. Atlanta has let the last 6 starters they have faced clear their closing K line, and we can see that when we go here to props.cash. Casey Mize, did he end up pitching? Oh, that was the second. I don't know. That wasn't on the board today. So Mize, I think, is the only guy who didn't, because whoever pitched against him last night had 6 Ks. But Reese Olson got over his K line with 5. Medea, who I don't super rate, got 6 Ks against them. Jack Flaherty, who is lights out, got 9 Ks against them. Corbin Burns, like I said, he's been struggling with his K stuff all season, so I'm not super worried about that. Grayson Rodriguez, we were on that as a play of the day, dusted him for 10. Cole Irvine, who I took it like plus 128, is a small half unit play, got him for 6. They're just getting crushed. They're getting absolutely crushed lately. Oh, that's Boston. I apologize. Yeah. So, that's what I'm looking at. Why is it still on Max Fried? There we go. Crawford. Sorry. So yeah, Medina got him for 6. The guy who pitched last night got him for 6. JP Sears, who I took, this was plus 128, got him for 5. Mackenzie Gore took him for 10. Jake Irvine took him for 10. Parker took him for 6. And here, this 526. This is when Acuna blew out his ACL. So 6 pitchers in a row have cleared their closing K line against Atlanta since the Acuna injury. So I'm all over this. I'm going to continue to ride Atlanta having problems in Ks versus everybody. Crawford is over this line in 4 of his 6 home starts. So yeah, we'll go throw on the filter. Bang, there it is. For the 6 last home starts, Crawford throws 43.4% of his pitches at the end of the zone. This is something I got here from Pitching Visual Report on Baseball Savant. This is one of the tools that I showed you guys in my walkthrough video that I always like. In my MLB walkthrough video, research walkthrough video, I can share that with you guys or throw it up somewhere, but it's the second to last video I've done. So something strange here about Crawford that isn't atypical for Boston pitchers this season is he does throw a lot of fastball. Boston has a lot of off-speed guys that throw a lot of breaking stuff, but they throw it well and they locate it well. So they don't have a ton of problems with that. But Crawford's a guy who throws a lot of fastball. He throws his four-seamer 34% of the time. He throws his cutter 31% of the time. He has a nice sweeper. He's got a decent split finger and curveball, though he doesn't throw them that much. And when I say Crawford pounds the zone, this is what I'm talking about here. When I say he pounds the zone, this is all the wrong stuff. Let me go faster. Yep. So yeah, he throws 52.1% of his pitches inside the zone here. League average is 49.9%. So this is a pretty significant shade above the rest of the league. He's obviously not throwing as much outside the zone if he's throwing inside the zone, but this is where the art of pitching is at its best, is guys who can paint the corners. This is where you get a lot of your subjective calls by Blue. This is where you force the hitter into making tough decisions on strike or take. And we can see based on the color of this chart that he is throwing that cutter really well, kind of at all locations around the zone, except for this bottom left corner. The bottom left corner, he's really hitting with his curveball the best, but he is absolutely owning this out. If you're a right-handed batter, this outside edge, which is great for pitching in Boston, because that means that your tendency is to kind of be late on those and shove them all out to right field for pop flies. So I really like his style of pitching, and I think that it sets up here well to go against an Atlanta team that's just really struggling with the ball. He is one of the few Boston pitchers that throws a lot of four-seam fastball and cutter. He pounds the zone, wind blowing in from right field. So that's where I'm at with on Crawford. That is an official play from me. I have that locked in at plus 110 on DK, as well as Max Fried. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is Dane Dunning. And this is a high line. I'm not going to lie. I haven't looked to see what lineups came out yet for Texas and for Detroit, but one of the oh yeah, look, we got some nice CLV on that. That's down to minus 106 on Caesars, plus 105, plus 105, plus 100. I'm still 100% down to take this on plus money at plus 105 on DK and plus 105 on MGM. We got some nice closing line value here. Dane Dunning is playing versus his old team. He did not want to be dealt from Detroit last summer. He got dealt to Philly. He actually ended up throwing like 128 pitch perfect game out there in Philly, and did really well, but then got hurt and went on the IL. But being a soldier, he battled back and came out of the pen for him a bit in the playoffs, and was just a little rusty to start the season, but has been pitching well since. He's an outstanding home pitcher. His splits at home have been better when he was with Detroit, when he was with Philly, and now when he's with Texas. So this guy just is really comfortable pitching in his own building. As you can see, he's over this line in every start so far for Texas at home. On the road, he is definitely not as good. He's only over in one, and this is his second head-to-head with Detroit. You can see he took him on the road, 4 or 5 strikeouts. I believe he had 4 walks that game. Yeah, 4 walks that game, which is his big issue. But one of the things I love here, Detroit has been really poor, especially on the road, at taking walks. They're only drawing walks at a 7% clip, which is the 3rd worst in the MLB when they are on the road. So Detroit has been really poor at the plate, especially with Baez in there, who's been batting 8th. Let's check and see if Baez is in the lineup. I'm assuming he is, just with the way this number has walked. That to me is a pretty good indicator that he is probably in the lineup. He's not. Babadoo has been just garbage this season. Look, Malloy is striking out 2 out of 3 times he goes to the plate. Again, it's statistically not super significant, just because he hasn't seen a ton of at-bats. But look at this lineup. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 really good K targets. Let's call it 1, 2, 3 borderline guys, and then I don't know, one guy in Colt Keith that's tough. So I really like the narrative here of Dane Dunning pitching much better in his building, going against his old team that he did not want to get dealt from. And Detroit just has an outstanding barn full of pitchers this year with Flaherty, Skubal, and some of their other guys. So Dunning, I think he is going to have a chip on his shoulder. And he is going to come out firing here and be striking these guys out a lot. So yeah, I like it. And then last, or not even last, but not least, this was going to be my baseball play of the day video until I decided to do this live stream. I went and got a nice little workout in, and then jumped over to the pool. So that's why you see me in my loungewear. But yeah, I liked Spencer Arrighetti here a lot. He's a rookie who's been dealing this season. He's over in 2 of his 4 home starts, over in his last 3 starts. St. Louis has a significantly worse split on the road here. They're 22.9% on Ks overall this season, but they're 24.5% away. And that jumps up to 26.6% versus right-handed pitching away. And then if we filter for the last 30 days, they're just shy of 29% with 28.8% K rate versus right-handed pitching the last 15 days. So that's why I like Spencer here at home, who has been pretty consistent. Again, Atlanta was doing a little bit better early in the season. Oakland is one of those teams that's always kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they're swinging the bat really well. Sometimes they're striking out 12 times. Milwaukee is another team that's kind of bipolar, but Cleveland is pretty K adverse, especially back at the beginning of the month there, back in May. So yeah, I like Arrighetti here just because of the splits we have been seeing with St. Louis. Let's pull up St. Louis's lineup here too and just see if there's anything that may have changed that I don't necessarily like. Goldschmidt has been a K machine. I know he's been seeing the ball better. I know he's been leaving the yard. Same with Gorman. They've been able to leave the yard a pretty decent amount. But there's a lot of good targets here. Goldschmidt, Gorman, Matt Carpenter, who's starting to get healthy. Herrera's a borderline guy. Sonny down here batting ninth. And like I said, just over the last 15 days, they've been struggling a lot more, especially on the road. So that's a trends play, and that's what I'm going to ride with for my trends here. And that's why I like Spencer. And that was going to be my play of the day. Let's make sure he is still okay. So we got a little nice closing line value here. You can still get plus 106 over on Caesars. Minus 120, minus 110, minus 102 on FanDuel. I'm fine at minus 110, minus 120. It's not necessarily a stretch, but there's better prices on the market. So I would just go out and get the better price. Why not, right? I mean, we're here. I'm doing the shopping for you. So yeah, Caesars at plus 106. That's definitely still a play for me. If you guys have any more questions or comments, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll be happy to take a look at anything you want. And then before we get out here, my last one for the late game is Kyle Harrison of San Francisco, over 4.5 Ks. I got this in at plus 120 on FanDuel. He's over in 5 of 6 at home this season. Arizona has been pretty ass lately. They've had 25% K rate at home versus left-handed pitching the last 15 and the last 30 days. 6 of the last 7 left-handed pitchers to start versus Arizona have cleared their closing K line. So if you guys want to see a little bit about that, I'll just show you real quickly. And then, like I said, throw anything you guys want up here in the comments. I'll address it, but this is going on 45, 50 minutes now. So if you guys don't have anything, I'm probably going to wrap this up. Arizona versus left-handers. Miller yesterday didn't do much, but Quintana's not a K guy. He got 4. Manena, he's very hit or miss. He took him for 10. Ryan Weathers hit him for 7. Braxton Garrett, who's not even a great K guy, took him for 6. Scooble got him for 6. Colt Irvine got him for 6. He's definitely not a K guy. Good pitcher, quality starter, but not a K guy this season. And then, and then here we go. Kyle Harrison, bang, had him for 5 Ks earlier this season, 420. So, yeah, I mean, I really like Harrison at home here. I think you can still get a pretty good number on him. I'm not sure if this lineup's going to be out because it is the late game, but yeah, you can still get plus 102 on FanDuel. What price did I get here? Yeah, that's what I took, plus 102 on FanDuel. So let's take a quick look and see if San Fran's lineup is out yet. It is. Okay. So Zona's lineup is out. Let's go here and look at some of their K stuff versus left-handed pitching. So, obviously they got Marte back, who is pretty K adverse. But, Gurriel, 18.1%, Walker, 30%, Suarez, 32%, Alexander, 27.9. So that's 1, 2, 3 really easy K targets. And then again, like I said, they've been struggling more recently. It's just kind of tough. I don't want to pull up individual batters and stuff like that here on FanGraphs. It's just a lot of work. But know that I've done my research and I got here to Kyle Harrison over 4.5 Ks at plus 120. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with this. I can do this. Get rid of this. Zoom out. Okay, this might be a little hard to read, but that gets you everybody I have here. I don't want to delete my notes for this, but this will kind of be the end screen for the video. Unless you guys have any more questions, comments, if you want to see any more research stuff or tips and tricks while I'm doing this, jump in. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. I did end up taking Suarez live. I didn't move that down here, but I threw it up in Discord. So yeah, ended up taking Suarez before that game kicked off. I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to go eat some dinner and watch a bunch of baseball. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with me. I appreciate you guys. I hope I got you to where you wanted to be. I hope that helped out. So for now, that's it. Oaks out. Doses.